The following matchup is presented and played with Hockey Blast Express, a product of Play Games LLC, copyright 2023, all rights reserved. Welcome to this week's episode of the Hockey Blast Express Hour. In today's episode, we have a great matchup for you on hand as we will rewind back the clock to the 2017 Stanley Cup Final that featured the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. This was how should I put this? An on par, little bit low final as Pittsburgh would win it in real life. But we are going to find out today if Pittsburgh can retain Lord Stanley or if Nashville can make a little bit of history. Stay tuned for game one coming up next. But first, let's have a little look and say thank you to our official Play Game sponsors for sponsoring today's episode of the Hockey Blast Express Hour. We would like to take the time to send out a special thanks to our Play Game sponsors for sponsoring today's episode. Today's episode of the Hockey Blast Express Hour is brought to you in part by Bitty Beer. They say it's a blend of hops, rice, and barley that gives Bitty Beer its distinctive taste. But we know better. It's our brewing process that gives our beer that one-of-a-kind flavor that no premium beer can match. Our vats have never been cleaned, so there's an itty bit of history in every can. Bitty Beer, the beer for folks who can't afford better. And we remind you, if you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. And by Doc Cola, the official cola beverage of the Play Games community. Doc Cola uses the finest imitation ingredients that bring you that sugary blast of caffeine you've come to know and love. With twice the sugar and 3 times the caffeine of any other major brand, Doc Cola is sure to keep you wired from dawn until dusk. So, while you're at it, take the Doc Cola challenge and see where our customers agree you'll never be able to wean yourself from refreshing Doc Cola. And by Ice Brew, the official brewery choice of the Play Games community. Brewed in the frozen tundra of northern Wisconsin, Ice Brew is a beer made for sports fans and tailgating. Our 150-year-old family recipe is brewed to make the most of every ingredient. We use hops, barley, wheat, corn, rice, oats, quinoa, spelt, malt, and sunflower seeds blended together with the finest water shipped in from the shores of Lake Michigan. One sip, and you'll agree there's nothing like Ice Brew. And by Pizza Kingdom, the official pizza joint of the Play Games community. At Pizza Kingdom, our signature New York pizza starts with the crust when we layer on our homemade pizza sauce, then load your pizza up with mounds of cheese. When it comes out of the oven, it's piping hot, golden brown, and ready for you to enjoy. And we give that majestic culinary work of art to Mikey, our 16-year-old delivery driver, who is as responsible as a tree stump. Pizza Kingdom. It was sure perfection when it's left in the store. And we're about set and ready to go for game one of this this new matchup here on this episode of the Stanley Cup Finals Rewind, as we revisit the 2017 Stanley Cup Final held between the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. An on par final, but really odd, to say the least. But we will replay out the tabletop, or excuse me, replay out this odd Stanley Cup final out on the tabletop as the Pittsburgh Penguins in real life won the Stanley Cup over the Nashville Predators. Can Pittsburgh repeat history, or can Nashville try to attempt to win their first Stanley Cup? With that being said, let's get right into game one. Your starting netminders for game one is going to be Pekka Rinne for Nashville and Matt Murray going for Pittsburgh. With that being said, let's get the puck dropped and play some hockey. We're going to begin game one with a quality check between between players one and two, I should say. Ian Cole and Mike Fisher. The quality that we're looking for is skill. Both Cole and Fisher have skill, and that is going to be it for that segment. And we will move on to the next one. Visitor scoring chance of a 25, and it reads, home goalie must make spec save. Matt Murray is not known for this. He needs to roll a 1 and exactly a 1 in order to stop the Nashville goal attempt. He won't, and the Preds get on the board early. It's 1-0. Let's see who scored the goal. 10, player with the second best shot rating. So looking at it, even it's really tough to tell on screen, but looking at it, Victor Arvidsson has the best rating overall, and the second best is going to go between Roman Yossi and Colin Wilson. I do would like to keep that triangle out there for Roman Yossi, so we're going to go with Colin Wilson that scored the goal for the Nashville Predators to open up this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup between the Preds and the Penguins. And we continue on in this segment with another visitor scoring chance. This time it'll be a 15. Home goalie must make play save. Matt Murray was known for this. A 3 or a 4 with a dot will do so. He will save it to keep this game right within reach for his team to come back into it as the Preds lead 1-0 as we head to the next segment. Penalty check between both players in two. It's Sidney Crosby and Matt Irwin. Both guys have the same penalty rating of 0.5. And that is going to be all she wrote for this segment. And we will move on to the next one. We got ourselves a quality check, and it'll pit player anybody on the ice for the Penguins against player number 3. That's Roman Yossi. The quality that we're looking for is smart. Well, Roman Yossi is not going to win this one, so it's either going to be Kessel, Cullen, or Hornquist winning this battle for smart. I do want to keep Kessel out there for the power play circle star symbol, so we're going to go with either Cullen or Hornquist. And I'm going to have the decider die decide. It's Hornquist. And it will be Hornquist. So Hornquist is going to skate on into Pekka Rinne to hopefully net a 3 or a 4 with a dot to make the stop. He won't, and the Penguins tie it up, courtesy of Patrick Hornquist. Three COC, yep. Want to forget. And that we stay put in this segment with another quality check. This time it'll be between players, anybody on the ice for the Penguins against player number 4. That is Craig Smith. The quality we're looking for is power. Pick your poison between any one of those Penguins. Well, fair enough. Evgeny Malkin did rotate, so I'm going to leave him out there. So it's either Kessel, Cullen, Dumoulin, or Mata. I'm going to say anything but a 4 or a 6 will be the lucky contestant. 2, so Matt Cullen. So both players have the same quality of power, and that is going to be it for the first period, but not before both teams scored a goal in the first 20 minutes of play. here in the Stanley Cup Finals Rewind episode featuring the Preds and the Penguins. Home scoring chance of a 54, and it reads visitor defense player in 5. That's Victor Arvidsson. He creates he stops a Nashville goal, a Pittsburgh Penguin goal with the quality of power or a square. Although he does not have square, he does have power well enough to stop the Pittsburgh goal attempt from getting past him and past Pecorine in to the back of the net. Another home scoring chance. This time it'll be a 52. Visitor defense player in 3. That's Ryan Ellis. He stops the goal opportunity with a quality roll of skill or a square. Yes, and yes, Ryan Ellis does have the square. Also, he does have skill, and that is really well enough to stop another Pittsburgh goal scoring attempt to get past him and past Pecorine into the back of the net. Penalty check, as it's going to be between both players in 5, PK Subban and Oli Mata. And it looks like PK Subban's going to go to the box with a penalty rating of 0.5. Oli Mata's 0, as Oli Mata will skate on into Pecorine to give the Pittsburgh Penguins the lead. The 3 or a 4 with a dot will not do so. Unfortunately, it will give the Pittsburgh Penguins the lead, courtesy of Oli Mata on the power play. We stay put in this segment with a quality check between players 1 and 2. That's Kessel and Weber. The quality that we're looking for is smart. Both guys have smart, and that is going to be all she wrote for this segment, and we will move on to the next one. Quality check between players 1 and 4, Nick Bonino and Austin Watson. The quality that we're looking for is power. And it looks like both of them have power. And that is going to be all she wrote for that segment. And after 40 minutes of play here in game 1 of this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup, we have a score of Pittsburgh 2, Nashville 1. We got ourselves a quality check, not a quality check, a visitor scoring chance, I should say, of a 21. Home goalie must make shot save, so Matt Murray needs to make a yow. He needs to roll a 3 or a 4, 3, 4, 5. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will do so. He does so, nobody flips, and that is going to be. Yes, shot save. Yep. That's going to be it for that segment, and we will move on to the next one. We got ourselves another quality check. This time it'll be between players 2 and 5. That's Justin Schultz and Colton Sissons. The quality that we're looking for is smart. Neither Schultz or Sissons have smart, and that is going to be all she wrote for this segment, and we will move on to the next one. Quality check between players 5 and anybody in the ice for the Preds. Carl Hagelin will be the player in question for Pittsburgh. The quality that we're looking for is hit. Hagelin is not going to win this one, so it's either Fisher or McLeod winning this battle for hits. I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with Cody McLeod. So Cody McLeod will skate on into Matt Murray to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. It won't. The game is tied up, courtesy of Cody McLeod. We stay put in this segment with a quality check between both players in 1. That's Matthias Ekholm and Ian Cole. The quality that we're looking for is speed. And Matthias Ekholm will skate off to Matt Murray as he does have speed. So Matt Murray needs to net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. A 3 will do enough, and that is going to be all she wrote for this segment. And we will move on to the final segment, possibly that could send us to either overtime or the empty net mini chart, or possibly the game coming to an end. Quality check between players 1 and 2. That's Phil Kessel and Mike Fisher. The quality that we're looking for is speed. Neither player has speed, and folks, we are going to go to sudden death overtime. Quality check between players 3 and 2. That's Dumoulin and Matt Irwin. The quality that we're looking for is star. Neither player has star, and unlike the Stanley Cup Finals, um, this is only like the second time that we have seen this happen. Um, Unlike the Stanley Cup Final, there were no shootouts, but in this episode of the Stanley Cup Finals Rewind, we will play to a shootout. So dot will be always will be the home team winning, and blank will be the visitors. And it will be Nashville leading this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup as they win it in a shootout 3-2. Let's see who scored the shootout winner. 10, second best shot rating. The best out there is Neil with 2, and tied for the second best is Yossi or Yarncrook. Yarncrook was no. Yeah, Yarncrook, I believe he was flipped earlier, so it could possibly be him, it could possibly be Yossi. Let's have the decider die decide. Dot, it will be Yarncrook. And it will be Yarncrook. So Carter Yarncrook will, or excuse me, Kelly Yarncrook will score the game winner in the shootout. And that is that. Your final score coming your way via a shootout. The Nashville Predators shocked the Pittsburgh Penguins, winning game 1 of this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup by a score of 3-2. Stay tuned for the game summary plus our key plays from this game, presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products. If you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. Well, what an exciting game 1 we witnessed here for this episode for Stanley Cup Finals Rewind, featuring the 2016-17 Nashville Predators and the 2016-17 Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome inside the Bitty Beer Game Studios, presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. This is your game summary for game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup between the Predators and the Penguins, in which case the Nashville Predators hung on to beat Pittsburgh in a shootout, even though the shootout was not used during the Stanley Cup Finals. They were instituted in the regular season, but for all the videos that I have done throughout this season, I did play things with a shootout. I just let it go. But anyway, here is your scoring summary for game 1. Goals came from Colin Wilson, Cody McLeod, and Kali Yarncrook. For Nashville, PK Subban would be the unfortunate Predator to cause a little bit of trouble, with Pittsburgh scoring on the power play from Oli Mata. Cody McLeod and Matthias Ekholm would be the quality check winners for Nashville, with Cody winning hit and Matthias winning speed. For Pittsburgh, Patrick Hornquist and, of course, the aforementioned Oli Mata would all score goals, with Mata coming on the power play. No penalties were cause to go in Pittsburgh's way. But for the quality check wins, the lone quality check winner for Pittsburgh was Patrick Hornquist, as he would win the battle for smart. Your key plays of the game are as follows. Of course, nothing doing in the first period, but we fast forward to the second period. Victor Arvidsson would make a huge key stop on a Pittsburgh goal opportunity. So did Ellis in the following minute, as those two combined for two goal stops, two key stops on the Pittsburgh goal opportunity. In the 15th minute of the third, Cody McLeod would tie the game up at 2-2 as he would score off of a quality check win. And then in overtime, nothing really happened. But in the shootout, Kelly Yarncrook would net the game winner, would net the shootout game winner to have the Nashville Predators go up on the Pittsburgh Penguins 1-0. And here are your three stars of the game from game one. Of course, star number three, I had to really give it to Patrick Hornquist, as he would net a quality check win and also a goal for Pittsburgh, one of Pittsburgh's two goals. Cody McLeod would be the second star, as he would net the game tying goal in the third, plus a quality check win. And of course, star number one, I had to give it to Kylie Yarncrook, as he would net the shootout game winning goal. With that being said, can Pittsburgh hopefully to come back and tie things up? Well, I think they have an opportunity to do so, but can the Predators make it 2-0 in the series and try to make some history? I guess we're going to have to find out, because game two is coming up next. And welcome back, everybody, as we get set for game two of this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup between the 2016-17 Pittsburgh Penguins and the 16-17 Nashville Predators. Last game, the Predators won via a shootout, as they take game one of this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup between the Preds and the Penguins by leading it 1-0. For Pittsburgh, it's all important for them to win this game right here and now. So let's see if they can do it to even the series to force a winner-take-all game. With that being said, your starting netminders are the same as they were in game one. For Pittsburgh, it'll be Matt Murray. And for Nashville, it'll be Pekka Rinne. With that being said, let's get the puck dropped and play some hockey. And we're going to begin game two with a quality check between anybody on the ice for the Predators against player number one. That's Nick Bonino. The quality that we're looking for is power. Pick your poison other than Fiddler. I think if Forsberg was flipped, so I'm going to leave him alone from last game. So it's going to be between Weber, Yossi, and Neal. We'll have the red die decide. 1-2 will be Weber. 3-4 is Yossi. 5-6 will be Neal. And it will be James Neal. So Neal and Nick Bonino will tie up the opening segment here in game two for power. And that's going to do it for this segment. And we'll move on to the next one. Penalty check between player four, that's Colin Wilson, against anybody on the ice for Pittsburgh. At this stage early in the game, I don't see you giving any team a penalty until late. But we're gonna have the red die. We're gonna have the decider die. I decide because the Pittsburgh Penguins cannot go on the power play, but they can tie. So we tie. And it looks like the Nashville Predators are going to go on the power play. So between Cole and Malkin, who's going to go to the box? It'll be Malkin. and it'll be Ian Cole. So Ian Cole is going to march off to the box as Colin Wilson will skate on into Matt Murray, hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. A 3 will do so, and that keeps this game even Steven here at Bridgestone Arena here in Nashville. We continue on with a visitor scoring chance of a 23. Home goalie must make spec save. Pecorino is not known for this. Neither was Matt Murray, so it's an even Steven footing. So Pekka needs to net a 1 and exactly a 1 in order to do so. He won't, and the Pittsburgh Penguins get on the board early. Let's see who scored the goal. 8, player with the best shot rating. That's a tie between Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. I think I'm going to give it to Malkin. So Evgeny Malkin will score the game's first goal for Pittsburgh, and that is going to be that for that portion of this segment. And we move on to the next one. Another visitor scoring chance. This time it's going to be a 46. Any visitor player with a power play circle star symbol creates a power play goal. Yes, Kessel or Crosby. Let's say dot, it's Kessel. And it will be Kessel. So Bill Kessel will skate on into Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop, which he will do so. And that keeps this game right where it's at of 1-0 in favor of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penalty check between players 5 and 1. That is going to be Vernon Fiddler and Nick Bonino. Let's see here. Oh, Vernon Fiddler is going to go to the box as Nick Bonino has a penalty rating of 0. So Bonino is going to skate on into Pecorine, hopefully in a net a 3 or a 4 with a dot to make the stop. He won't, and Nick Bonino extends the Penguins' lead, and it will be considered to be a power play goal. We stay put in this segment with a home scoring chance of a 45. And it reads, any home player with a power play circle star symbol creates a power play goal. Unfortunately, we do not have a Nashville Predator currently out on the ice with a power play circle star symbol. So therefore, it's going to be a no action result. And we will end the first period there. And after the first 20 minutes of play, your score is Pittsburgh 2, Nashville nothing. We begin the second period with a quality check between players 2 and 1. That's Yannick Weber and Ian Cole. The quality we're looking for is skill. Ian Cole has skill, so therefore it's going to move. He's going to move in on Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop, which he does, and that is going to be it for that segment. And we will move on to the next segment in this hockey game. Home scoring chance of a 54. Visitor defense player in 5. That's Connor Sheary. He stops a Nashville goal opportunity with a quality roll of skill or a square. Although he does not have a square, he does have skill well enough to stop the Nashville attempt from getting past him and into the back of Matt Murray's net. Penalty check here to begin this next segment between players 2 and 1. That is Mike Fisher and Phil Kessel. And it looks like, Mike Fisher is going to go to the box as he has a higher penalty rating than Phil Kessel. So Kessel is going to skate on into Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or a 4 with a dot to make the stop. Oh, by the hair of his chinny chin, he does. Wow. And that is going to end this segment, and we will move on to the next one. Visitor scoring chance of a 44. Any visitor player with a triangle creates a goal opportunity. Absolutely, Sidney Crosby has some triangles printed out on his card. So therefore, he's going to skate on into Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. He stops the kid in his tracks, and that is going to be it for the second period. And after the first 40 minutes of play here in game two, your score remains Pittsburgh 2, Nashville nothing. We begin the third with a quality check between both players in three. That is going to be Roman Yossi and Scott Wilson. The quality we're looking for is hit. Scott Wilson's going to win this one as he does have hits. So he's going to skate on into Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. He can't, and Pittsburgh extends their lead courtesy of Scott Wilson. Visitors, excuse me. We have a visitor scoring chance of a 25. Home goalie must make spec saves, so Pecorine needs to roll a 1 and an exactly a 1 to save this game from getting lopsided even further. He can't, and Pittsburgh will extend their lead. It's 4-0. Let's see who scored the goal. 10. That is player with the second best shot rating. So the best out there on the Penguins is a tie between Bonino and Rust. The second best, well, actually, no, a three-way tie between Rust, Cullen, and Bonino. So the second best after that is Chris Kunitz. So Chris Kunitz will score the goal for Pittsburgh to make it 4-0. And so far, the road team has been a factor in this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup. As last time out, it was back and forth, switching back and forth with the home team, with the home visitor home in the last Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup. I encourage you to go watch it if you have not already. We continue on in this segment with a quality check between players 1 and 4. That's Philip Forsberg and Trevor Daley. The quality that we're looking for is speed. It looks like Philip Forsberg is going to hang on to win that one as he does have speed. So he's going to skate on in to Matt Murray to hopefully net a 3 or a 4 with a dot to make the stop. He can't, and Nashville gets on the board courtesy of Philip Forsberg. We continue on with a home scoring chance of a 36. Home player in 4, that's Craig Smith. He creates a goal opportunity with a quality roll of skill or a triangle. Although he does not have a triangle, he does have skill well enough to skate on into Matt Murray to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. He does so, and that is going to be it for that segment, and we will move on to the next one. Another home scoring chance. This time it'll be a 43. Any home player with a triangle creates a goal. Absolutely, either Yossi or Neal. Since Neal was flipped, we're going to go with Roman Yossi. So Roman Yossi is going to skate on into Matt Murray to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. He won't. I like it. I love it. Plays on as Roman Yossi scores the second goal of the game for Nashville. Penalty check to continue on in this segment with a between player anyone on the ice for Nashville against player number 3. Excuse me. That's Brian Dumoulin. Well, either way, Nashville is going to go to the box. So we'll have Aries Zoynerchik, hopefully I'm saying that right, Zolnierchik, will head off to the box as Dumoulin will skate on into skate on into Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. He will do so, and that is going to be it for that segment, and we will continue on with the next segment. Quality check between both players in three. That's Ryan Ellis and Scott Wilson. The quality we're looking for is smart. Excuse me. Ryan Ellis is going to win this battle for smart, and he will skate on into Matt Murray to hopefully bring this game to within one goal. Can he do so? A 4 or 3 with it out won't do it. And Ryan Ellis will have the crowd sing, I like it and I love it, and I want some more of it, as Nashville and Ryan Ellis brings this game to within one as they lead it, as they are down by 1 goal. It's still Pittsburgh 4 and Nashville 3. Yes. We continue on in this segment with a penalty check between players 3 and anybody on the ice for excuse me, for Pittsburgh. Either way, Watson is going to go to the box, and we'll have we'll let the red die decide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 2. So Matt Cullen. So Matt Cullen will skate on into Pecorine to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop, which he will do so, and that is going to be that for that segment, and we will move on to the final segment before possibly going to either the empty net mini chart or if the game will be over. Quality check between players, anybody on the ice for the Predators against player number 2, that's Justin Schultz. The quality that we're looking for is hits. Well, the only Predator out there that has hits is Matt Irwin. So he's going to skate on into Matt Murray to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop, which he does. And we are going to go straight to the empty net mini chart. Pecorine heads off to the bench. And there he goes. Bringing the extra attacker on for Nashville. 3. All right, we're going to roll a die. If lower or equal to triangles, the leading team must make a play save. So currently Pittsburgh is in the lead, and we have 2 triangles out there. So if we roll a 1 or a 2, leading team goalie must make a play save. If we roll a 3 or higher, the game is over. And just like that, the game is over. So the Pittsburgh Penguins hang on to win in Nashville as the Penguins beat the Predators to even up this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup at 1 game apiece by the final score of 4-3. Stay tuned for the game summary presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products, as well as our key highlights or key plays of the game presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products, and as well our game summary through the first 2 games so far, through the first 2 games of this matchup, is also presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products. If you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. Welcome inside the game studios, presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products for Game 2's game summary for this episode of Stanley Cup Finals Rewind. Pittsburgh would win this game by the final score of 4-3, with Malkin, Bonino, Wilson, and Kunitz all scoring goals for Pittsburgh, while Forsberg, Yossi, and Ellis were your goal scorers for Nashville. Man, the hammer was laid down on the penalty side for Nashville as Fiddler, Fisher, Zoinarchek, and Watson would all net penalties, but not really lucky for Vernon Fiddler as he would be the lone Predator that would suffer a opposing power play goal from Nick Bonino. The lone penalty for Pittsburgh came on Ian Cole's side, or excuse me, on Ian Cole's behalf, I should say, as he was bailed out by his teammate as he really wanted to have a nice thing going here, but the head coach said simmer down, and he did just that by winning a quality check win for skill, while Scott Wilson would win the battle for hit. For Nashville, the quality check winners were Forsberg, Ellis, and Irwin. Forsberg would win the battle for speed, Ellis would win the battle for smart, and Matt Irwin would win the battle for hit. There were no key plays in this game, as it was a really tight back and forth game. But here are your 3 stars of the game. As star number 3 honors I would definitely have to give it to Philip Forsberg, as he would net a goal plus a quality check win. Ryan Ellis would net a goal plus a quality check win and would take home star number 2 honors. But star number 1 honors, I definitely have to give it to the game-winning goal in the third by Chris Kunitz. So this series is all knotted up at 1. Will Pittsburgh retain Lord Stanley, or will the Predators make history and lift Lord Stanley high over their heads? Let's head back to the rink for yet another winner-take-all game right now. Winner take all. That's what's going to happen here in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup between the 2016-17 Pittsburgh Penguins and the 2016-17 Nashville Predators. With that being said, your starting netminders for Game 3 is going to be the same as all the other 2 games. Pecorine is going for Nashville, and Matt Murray going for Pittsburgh. One of these 2 teams is going to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup. History will either be made or rewritten. Or excuse me, history will repeat or will be rewritten. Let's find out together right now. Let's drop the puck and play some hockey. And we're going to begin with a quality check, a home scoring chance, I should say, of a 61. Any visitor player with a circle prevents a power play goal. Yes, Matthias Ekholm does have that circle printed out on his card, so that is well enough to stop the goal scoring attempt. I believe on the power play for Pittsburgh to begin this one here in our winner take all game number 3. Quality check between both players in 2. That's Sidney Crosby and Yannick Weber. The quality we're looking for is power. Both Crosby and Weber have power. That's going to do it for this segment, and we will move on to the next one. We got ourselves a home scoring chance of a 42. Any home player with a triangle creates a goal. Yes, Patrick Hornquist has the only triangle out there, so he's going to skate in onto Pecorine. Hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop. He will do so to keep this game right where it's at, of a zip-to-zip tie, a scoreless tie, or should we call it, in a 1-1 evened matchup series. We got ourselves a visitor scoring chance this time. It's a 46. Any visitor player with a power play circle star symbol creates a power play goal. Let's see here. Yes, Mike Fisher does have the power play circle star symbol printed out on his card, so that's well enough to skate on in a Matt Murray to hopefully net a 3 or 4 with a dot to make the stop, which he will do so as both goaltenders are standing on their heads stopping shot after shot. And after the first 20 minutes of play here in Pittsburgh, the score is Pittsburgh nothing and Nashville nothing. Second period is about to get underway with a home scoring chance of a 21. Visitor goalie must make shot save. So Pecorine needs to net a 1, 2, 3, 4, or a 5 to seal up the deal, which he will do so. Nobody flips, and we will move on to the next segment. Penalty check between players 2 and 5. That's Matt Cullen and Pontus Alberg. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. And it looks like, yes, both guys have the same penalty rating of 0.5. And that is going to be all she wrote for this segment. And we will move on to the next one. Home scoring chance of a 15. As usual, visitor goalie must make a shot save. So Pecorine needs to net a 1 through 5 in order to stop the Pittsburgh goal attempt. Oh my goodness, he cannot. Pittsburgh is going to get on the board, and let's see who scored the goal. 7, player with the best shot rating. So the best out there is going to be Evgeny Malkin with 3 shot stars, is a shot star rating, and he will get the Penguins on the board early. It's 1-0 in this winner-take-all game. Penalty check between players. Anyone on the ice for the Penguins against Roman Josi. We could either tie or the Penguins are going to go on the power play. Because Nashville, at this point, you really have to tie. But we'll see what the decider die says. We tie. And we will tie. So Roman Josi will have the same penalty rating of 0.5 with either Schultz, Kunitz, or Daly. Since Daly was flipped a little while ago, I'm going to go between Schultz and Kunitz. It will be Kunitz. And it will be Kunitz, so going right across from us, both guys have the same penalty rating of 0.5. And that's going to do it for this segment. We will move on to the next one. Home scoring chance of a 25. Choice home player rolls for a goal using assist stars +2. Oh man, I wish I would have kept Malkin. But no worries. I got Justin Schultz. So he needs to roll a 1, 2, or 3 to score the goal. He does, and the Penguins extend their lead. It's 2-0, courtesy of Justin Schultz. Another home scoring chance, this time a 23. Visitor goalie must make spec save. Unfortunately for Pecorine, he needs to roll a 1 and then exactly a 1 in order to stop the bleeding, which he won't. And the Penguins extend their lead. It's 3-0. Let's see who scored it. 12. Okay, so we're gonna roll a die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be the reroll. Reroll. 2. Of course, it's Sid the Kid. Sidney Crosby will score the goal, score the 3-0 goal, and we will stay put in this segment with a quality check. Okay, so whenever double box cars come out, the way that I play it is I look at the home side first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a reroll. Reroll. 2, that is Matt Cullen, and he will be opposed by the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be a reroll. 4, that's James Neal. So Cullen versus Neal for speed. Neither player has speed, and that is going to be it for that segment, and we will move on to the next one. We begin the third with a 3-0 lead for Pittsburgh and a quality check between players 4 and 3. That's Daly and Ellis. The quality is smart. Both Daly and Ellis have smart. And that is going to wrap it up for this segment. We will move on to the next one. Home scoring chance of a 44. Any home player with a power play circle star symbol creates a power play goal. Unfortunately for Pittsburgh, I don't see any. Yes, I don't see any power play circle star symbols printed out on any active players' cards. So, with that being said, that's going to be a no action result, and we will move on to the next segment. We got ourselves a visitor scoring chance of a 24. Home goalie must make spec save. Matt Murray needs to roll a 1 and an exactly a 1 in order to stop the Nashville goal attempt and keep this game at a shutout. He can't, and the Predators are going to score their first goal of the game, breaking up the shutout. It's 3-1, still in favor of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's see who scored for Nashville. 2. Oh man, that's the fourth best shot rating. So the best out there is Victor Arvidsson. The second best is tied between Wilson and Yarncrook. And we have a fourth best between Irwin and Watson. Let's say dot. It's going to be Irwin. And it will be Watson. So Austin Watson will score the goal for the ice-breaking goal for Nashville. Is it too little too late? Let's find out. We got ourselves a quality check between players 2 and 4. That's Schultz and Wilson. The quality we're looking for is hit. Neither Schultz or Wilson have hit, and that is going to be it for that segment. And we'll move on to the final segment of this hockey game. Penalty check. Oh, so close to being a home team scoring a power play goal automatically. But it will be a penalty check between anybody on the ice for Pittsburgh against player number 5. That's Victor Arvidsson. Well, either way, dot, we can either tie or blank. The Pittsburgh Penguins are going to go on the power play. So let's see what the decider die decides. Dot, we tie. And it looks like Pittsburgh's going to go on the power play. So Victor Arvidsson's going to go to the box. So between Bonino, Dumoulin, and Rust, who's going to take it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, Bonino is 1, 2. Dumoulin is 3, 4. Rust is 5, 6. So it'll be Brian Rust taking the power play opportunity as he will skate on into Pecorine, hopefully to net a 3 or a 4 with a dot to make the stop. Which he will do so. And folks, that is going to be your ball game. The final score here for game number 3, and Pittsburgh will retain the Stanley Cup in this matchup as they win it 3-1 over the 2016-17 Nashville Predators. And they will win this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup by a final of 2-1. Thank you so much for tuning in to this matchup between the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and as part of for this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup as part of the Hockey Blast Express Hour. If you like what you saw, a like is very much appreciated as it will help me move along in my YouTube journey, as well as any comments, questions, concerns. I'll be happy to answer some of them if you have some, or if you have any suggestions to help make the Hockey Blast Express Hour a little bit better for the next time, for the next season that this should be able to hit my channel for hopefully a second season. With that being said, stay tuned for the Bitty Bear game summary, or Bitty Bear keys of the game. There's going to be key plays of the game, as well as an episode summary of this episode and final thoughts before we say so long for now on the Hockey Blast Express Hour. As always, it's presented by Bitty Beer. If you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste at a bitty price. It's Bitty Beer. Thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, your final score for Game 3, the Pittsburgh Penguins win this Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchup over the Nashville Predators, 2-1, as they take Game 3 by a final score of 3-1. Well, Pittsburgh managed to keep Lord Stanley in their hands and in the record books as they would beat the Nashville Predators 2-1 in this episode of Stanley Cup Finals Rewind. With that being said, here is your Game 3 game summary presented by your favorite Bitty Beer products. And again, we remind you, if you choose to drink Bitty Beer, please remember to drink responsibly. As always, it has big taste. At a bitty price, it's Bitty Beer. For Nashville, Austin Watson would be the lone goal scorer in this game, as nothing would come through for Nashville on the road. But it was all Pittsburgh in this one, as they would take it with 3 goals of their own, winning it 3-1, as Malkin would score his second, Justin Schultz and Sidney Crosby would all score their first goal. The lone penalty from either side went to Victor Arvidsson really late in the game, but he was managed to be bailed out by his teammate with a play save. No penalties came from Pittsburgh's end, and no one would net a quality check win. With that in mind, here are your 3 stars of the game for Game 3. Of course, star number 3, I would have to give it to Malkin, as he would net his second goal of this episode. Matt Murray was outstanding in net, as he would net a total of 32 saves here in this one. But Sidney Crosby, my goodness, he would net home the second goal in the back-to-back goals for Pittsburgh in the second period, and would get the game winner of this one. And with that being said, here is your episode 3 stars of the, or your, I should say, 3 stars of the episode. Star number 3, it was tough. I would definitely have to give it to Philip Forsberg, as he would net a goal and a quality check win. Evgeny Malkin would be star number 2, as he, of course, would net 2 goals. But Matt Murray, he was, man oh man, he had one good outing in Game 3, where he netted 31 saves, but he would eventually net 2 wins, managed to bounce back after that Game 1 loss, and would net a total unofficial 78 saves throughout this episode, averaging 26 saves per game. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Stanley Cup Finals Rewind that featured the 2017 Stanley Cup Stanley Cup Finals participants between the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. But unfortunately, we're going to have to say farewell for this week. But never fear, let's see what's coming up next time here on the Hockey Blast Express Hour. Oh boy, are we going to have a treat for you on hand, as we are going to settle the Battle of Pennsylvania in the next edition of Goal Scoring Frenzy that will feature the 2010-11 Pittsburgh Penguins and the 2010-11 Philadelphia Flyers. Who will win our Battle of Pennsylvania here out on the tabletop? Well, I guess you're going to have to tune in next week here on the Hockey Blast Express Hour. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Hockey Blast Express Hour. We look forward to bringing you more episodes of Rivalry Night, Stanley Cup Finals Rewind matchups, and goal scoring frenzy throughout the 2025-26 National Hockey League season.